Hey guys, today with the topic of when it could be a bad idea to go into the no contact. For starters, I would have liked to say that we are still talking about my kind of no contact. This means that we keep all channels open to her that do not harm ourselves or give us unnecessary hope, and never ignore her. If you do that, then knock X back right out of your mind in the future as well. Because this additionally weakens your position by showing her that you have no interest in anything with her. It's just not an adult action, and that would be the minimum how they would have to see you to even develop interest again. So focus on you and mirror her behavior if something should come up and work up or get you back on your feet is announced. And since that is 90% of the case, I say again and again in 9 out of 10 cases, this is your best chance. The video also runs under a disclaimer. You are probably not the one exception or possibly cannot properly assess it in your current condition. You do not have the capacities and are led by your fear and thereby also by the illusion of action. Short version of the illusion of action, you want to do something to solve this thing. You want to show what you feel and win her back. Look at the video that goes with it. This is just a nonsense that works in movies as good as always, but in reality we are worse off afterwards than before. Both self-esteem wise and from their point of view. So, if you can't judge if you are one of those who don't make sense to stay away from contact, yes, that's exactly why I'm making this video, and I'm keeping it as short as possible, so that not everyone can recognize their own individual situation and thinks they have to do something. Point number 1, you were clearly the one who broke up. If you have ever been dumped, then you know how suddenly you feel like you have been dumped, like you are no longer on the same level. The one who has been dumped feels a much greater neediness towards the one who has dumped, and for him it is the other way around. If you were able to leave your ex, then the attraction with her was still strong enough that she was not the one to go through with this step. So at the time of the breakup, in most cases, she wanted to keep trying. That may have changed with the breakup or the time she had afterwards. After all, it was foreign to her and she no longer had a say in it. She has to come to terms with that somehow. Usually, however, the attraction remains at least the same when you break up with someone. The security and the trust go partly down the drain, but attraction increases the more aloof someone is. This is what those of you who have been dumped and are looking at X-Back videos for it realize the most. Anyway, if it was your decision, you are also in the debt, because you have all the strings in your hand. If you say no to the relationship, your ex can do nothing about it, and that was her last stand. So don't give me false pride and be open and honest about how you feel. Talk to her and hope she will take you back. You won't accomplish anything by cutting off contact at this point. You don't need more attraction or more interest in her, that's usually high enough, and if not, you've blown it anyway. Because no attraction plus the bring debt, nothing will happen anymore. Point number 2. It was a breakup in the heat of the moment. You and your ex have been fighting lately, although, and I hear this more often, everything was always good. Or the exact opposite was the case. A toxic relationship with all the ups and downs that go with it, and there's always a fight. Anyway, if it was a quarrel topic and not a sinking attraction over a longer period of time, then sort it out, otherwise it's permanently between you. But don't confuse it with the fact that the attraction was gone. The woman has distanced herself from you over a longer period of time and you suddenly start a fight. You see, the first point I think many people might misjudge. Point number 3, you have done shit. Cheated, lied, or whatever. Overall, we come to a common denominator in all points, and that is that the attraction is still there or was there until the breakup. In short, she still desires you. There is no lull in bed and she is not shittisting you to the point of no return or exploring her boundaries further and further. This closeness to each other is present. Not to be confused with the affection and typical couple actions. Respect, trust, security, it can all be gone. If the attraction is still there, then the no contact rule will only do you some good. But with her it will not trigger anything anymore. But hopefully you see how rarely this is the case, and especially when such stories as security are no longer given, then after a short time at the same time with the women also the attraction sinks. At least, if you do not actively work to solve the problem. And I say intentionally to solve it and not to talk about it. But you can't work on attraction and feelings, it comes down to the illusion of action, and that's where a no-contact policy makes perfect sense. You can't influence them anyway, and it is always important that you take care of what you can influence and keep the rest at bay as much as possible. Otherwise your own inability will only pull you down further. When in absolute doubt, if you're not sure, go into no contact. You would know if you fell into a category where you had to approach them. Wanting to go all out now alone to save the relationship is not an indicator of that. These are unfortunately hard facts, and underneath I would not advise you to do anything in her direction. Take care and see you in the next video.